Sponsored by the Texas border law, which would have empowered state law enforcement authorities to arrest individuals suspected of illegally crossing the U.S Mexico border, was once again blocked a day after it came into effect. The Texas border law, which would have empowered state law enforcement authorities to arrest individuals suspected of illegally crossing the U.S Mexico border, was once again blocked a day after it came into effect. This Republican-backed law had been cleared by the U.S Supreme Court on Tuesday, despite the rejection of a request by President Joe Biden's administration. A late-night ruling from the New Orleans-based 5th U.S Circuit Court of Appeals halted the enforcement of the law ahead of oral arguments on the issue scheduled for Wednesday. On Tuesday, the U.S Supreme Court cleared the way for strict immigration law, dealing a victory to Republican Governor Greg Abbott on encouraging GOP lawmakers in other states that are pushing for similar measures. However, later a 2-1 order of the appeals court put a pause. During the short period while the Texas law was in effect, Texas authorities did not announce that any arrest had been made or say whether it was being actively enforced. Meanwhile, the legal back and forth in the case has caused uncertainty about the future of the controversial measure put in place by the Republican governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. The law is opposed by Democratic administration of President Joe Biden, which says it would impede the federal government from enforcing immigration laws. Abbott last December signed the law authorizing state law enforcement to arrest people suspected of entering the U.S. illegally, giving local officers powers long delegated to the federal government. Abbott said the law was needed due to Biden's failure to enforce federal laws criminalizing illegal entry or re-entry. Pertinently, Republicans have sharply criticized the Democratic president's handling of the record number of migrants caught illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. Abbott and other Republicans favor the restrictive policies of former President Donald Trump, their party's candidate challenging Biden in the November 5 U.S. election. Slamming the law, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the Texas law will sow chaos and confusion at our southern border. Meanwhile, the U.S. Justice Department also blocked the law in January, stating that the law violates the U.S. Constitution and federal law by interfering with the U.S. government's power to regulate immigration. The Texas criminalized illegal entry or re-entry with penalties ranging from 180 days in jail to 20 years in prison.